And you are all set.
Thank you very much, Chris. And thank you to SUNY OER for giving us an opportunity to share information about the State University of New York's Exploring Emerging Technologies for Lifelong Learning and Success. The URL for our project is on the screen, and it's pretty memorable. It's suny.edu/mtech, and that's EMTECH. And we will talk about the project and give you some examples and show you around. So without further ado, we're going to go forward. So my name is Robin Sullivan. If you need to find me at the University at Buffalo directories, you do need to look me up as Roberta, but everybody knows me as Robin. I am a teaching and learning strategist with the new linked center in the University at Buffalo libraries. My email address is on the screen. It's rrs@buffalo.edu. And I've been an instructional designer with the University of Buffalo for about 25 years. And this project has been a collaboration with many people from around the SUNY system. One person who has been extremely instrumental, and we are hoping that she is going to kind of take the reins and move us forward even further, is Dr. Nicole Simon. And Nicole, can you please introduce yourself?
Sure, thank you, Robin. Hi, I'm Nicole Simon from SUNY Nassau Community College. I am a STEM professor in the Engineering, Physics, Technology section of the math department. I've been teaching at Nassau in various capacities between STEM and instructional design for over 20 years, and I'm an instructional designer and an ed tech specialist as well. I've been with the MTech project for many years, both as a fellow and now the other side of the house, and we're very excited to show you what we've been working on over the years.
Great, thank you. So kind of the gist of the MTech project is that in today's rapidly changing technology world, there are many, many choices. There's icons on the screen of just a fraction of those that you have that are freely available technology tools that can assist with teaching, learning, and with your everyday life. This selection of tools is ever growing, ever changing. They are all, just a little bit different in their purpose and also in the quality. And one of the big questions that we need to be able to solve today is, how do we know as faculty, researchers, students, members of society, how do we know which are the best tools and resources to choose? It's kind of the heart of the MTech project. For short, we call the project MTech. It has two different parts, the MTech MOOC and the MTech Wiki, and we will talk about both of them today. MTech is discovery learning to be able to explore and reflect on innovative and creative uses of emerging technologies. And the learning opportunity that MTech presents is available to anybody in today's world across the globe who has an interest to stay current with today's rapidly changing technologies. It was designed with instructors and college students in mind, and it's suited for both beginners and advanced level users. I mentioned that MTech has two associated parts. One of those parts is MTech MOOC, and that is an online course provided through Coursera. And the course provides a very structured and supportive opportunity to learn about all the various changing emerging technologies. You see on the screen the interface for Coursera. It looks very much like the learning management system that many of you are very familiar with. There's often a menu of content, and there are interactive activities, quizzes, some games, and also a few videos. The Coursera course for MTech is a little bit light on some of the video presentation. We frame it more as a constructivist opportunity. You make the course what you want it to be, and it helps you meet the needs of your specific objectives. I also mentioned that this course, or the MTech project, has been created by many individuals from across the SUNY system. Many of you may recognize Chris Price, the academic programs manager with SUNY CPD. He is just one of the guest lecturers in the course. We also have faculty and students from across the SUNY system who are in the course providing information about how and why you might use the different types of emerging technologies for the purpose of teaching and learning. The MTech course is structured into 5 different modules. It is not a really heavy lift. It's professional development, so it's optional. Some faculty have incorporated it into course assignments. So in that case, they have made it required for their specific students. But the course is organized into 5 different modules. The very first module is all about lifelong learning and the 4 C's of 21st century skills. The topic of this conference, SUNY OER, is, OER is one of the concepts that is covered in that first module. It's one of the ideas that you need to understand to be able to move forward and be able to create OER, find OER, and use it for your own purposes. That first module is a little bit on the heavier side compared to the other modules that follow the 4 C's of 21st century skills. Those are communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. And the 4 C's of 21st century skills is something that has been developed through the National Education Association, and they have decided that these are the 4 skills that employers are most seeking in the people that they employ in their organizations. Nicole, I'm going to let you take it from here for a bit.
Sure. So we take a look at where we get all of the vital information and the emerging technology tools to be used in the MOOC. We have our MTech Wiki, which is the second half of this project. It's a socially curated wiki repository of freely available and premium tools and resources. We use the MTech Wiki to really help out with the discovery exercises in the MOOC, to be able to find and curate and really hone down our skill set as to what we're looking for as far as emerging technologies, and certainly learn and explore new ones. It's an open website, it's freely available. You can use it as a standalone resource, or you can again use it in conjunction with it's designed to with the MOOC. I know myself and some colleagues at Nassau, we have actually used the wiki as its own mini course. So rather than have the students do the full MOOC during the semester, we will actually use each of the different 4 learning modules from the wiki and curate that information and design it specific to our courses. So when we talk about the wiki, what are we actually looking at? Well, as you can see on the screen, the 4 major modules of learning: lifelong learning, communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. You can certainly click on any of those and it will curate the emerging technologies in that field, or you can actually use the filters. And that's really the heart of the wiki, is using those filters to be able to take a look at different objectives. What are you or your students looking to find, learn about as different resources in the course? Or you can actually go through the different catalogs, and that further refines your searches to be able to, again, make the best of our, wow, 600 plus we're almost up to different tools and resources. So you can see that we have so many different records, and how do we even begin? Again, taking a look at what your true objective is for your students, for what you want them to learn about or to use. And then certainly by those different categories, start to take a look. We have many, many different categories that will go back to those modules, specifically the open ed resources. These are great areas to learn about open education resources, to be able to take a look and find newer ones that you can use for your classes. Your students are probably aware of what the acronym is, but really actually using it, it's a little bit more involved. We want to make sure our students have the best possible information. We invite you to contribute to the wiki. We can't find all the different resources out there. So again, it's open so anybody can contribute. All you need to do is log on to the wiki and create an account. And then from there, you can always contribute, whether you find a tool, a resource, a video, anything would be wonderful. And then we just go in and just double check to make sure that the filters are applied correctly, that you are actually putting in the right category, because we do keep the taxonomy a little bit clean to make sure that everybody is able to, again, use that search function to the best of its ability. You can always add a tool if you find a broken link or if you're finding something is an issue. We welcome you to help modify it and, if possible, rate the tool. Our rating system isn't as highly developed as the rest of the wiki because not everybody rates the tool. Some of us just, yes or no, or just ignore it. But we certainly want you to help rate the tool. That way we know what is being used the most and what is the most helpful for you. So there's a learning process with everything, but more than the just learning process, we want you to read and review and participate with the course materials. Again, going back to the MOOC and using the wiki along with that. Explore the wiki and the tools and resources, again, to help you complete those discovery exercises and really learn about the course and emerging technologies. I'd like to say it's customizable. We do have a framework, but when you're completing your discovery exercises or your students, if you want to enroll them, it really helps that you have a theme of what you're looking for with those tools and resources. It may be open educational resources. It may be allowing students to find out more about that with images, or helping to create those pedagogical partnerships where students are part of the learning process with open education. Certainly sharing an artifact of what you've created, what you've found, and then reflecting on that in an e-portfolio. While the e-portfolio is technically an option, we do encourage you to use that feature because now students can start to create a living document of their learning, and they can use this cross-discipline, and being able to find out how to create an e-portfolio and then sharing it is really value added in this course. And then also certainly there's a reward of earning the badges and the Coursera certificate. So some of the learner rewards, creating that personal e-portfolio. Some of us do it more for professional reasons. I have certainly many of them for professional. I have ones that are just for fun to show some of the tools and resources I've learned about. And then you can certainly customize it for your students. I know my students use it for their disciplines, whether they are in the STEM fields or the art fields, and they need to show a digital portfolio, or if they're going in for education. But another wonderful thing is to be able to use it for a final project where you can break out and segment what they've learned and build on it. Certainly earning the Coursera certificate and the SUNY digital badges are very highly valued for professional development and for student personal gain. And then there's always the intrinsic reward of being a lifelong learner. So some of what we've been working on over the past couple of years is the wiki taxonomy improvements, making sure our keywords and our tagging structure is very robust, and also that we have a lot of choices for people to go through and take a look at different special interest groups, such as virtual exchange and COIL. I'm an avid COILer and COIL coordinator for my campus, so being able to make sure that things are workable internationally, not just with GDPR and FERPA regulations, but also making sure that we're mindful of bandwidth and we're mindful of what different countries can use, which software and emerging technologies and tools. Making sure that different instructors are able to use those different tools, specifically the K-12 sector. New York State and California have an ed law where they are very mindful of what technology tools and emerging technology we are allowed to use with our K-12 partners. So making sure that they are tagged properly so the K-12 sector can come in and readily use these resources. Making sure we uphold the standards for accessibility, security, and certainly global availability have been some of the improvements we've been working on. So MTech is free for all. Everyone can participate in the course for free. That's always been open for everybody. SUNY, anybody who's a student, staff, faculty, or alumni can join and get a free Coursera certificate and badge. But recently, New York State Department of Labor has allowed anyone who is underemployed to be able to get a free Coursera certificate and badge. All you have to do is apply, and other states are starting to bring this to fruition as well, making this more of an OER available course for students and for learners. The wiki has always been freely available for everybody, but there are also many more promotional offerings you can always find on Coursera. What we're trying to do is build that 21st century digital literacy skills that are so crucial for displaced workers, underserved populations, and those with low incomes.
Well, thank you, Nicole. And so that kind of gives you just, a little bit of an overview about the SUNY MTech project. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the categories that you can find on the MTech wiki that you use in conjunction with the MOOC. So I am going to actually go into the MTech website. Excuse me. And so this is the MTech website. It has been evolving for many years. It was kind of the thread that started all of this was one of the very first SUNY Innovative Instruction Technology grants back in 2012. We had a project that was followed a similar model called the Tools of Engagement Project that has evolved over time. For the first 5 years. It was mainly focused just at faculty. And as we were going forward, we always knew that the students needed to have digital skills as well. And we were hoping to provide professional development for faculty and have them trickle down their knowledge to students. And that definitely did happen. But we did want to make the project globally available to instructors across the world and also to students. As we were going through, we said, well, everybody needs to have good digital literacy skills. And so we kind of reframed the model and rebranded it as the SUNY MTech project. And always continually making improvements. We have a survey that is provided to participants as they go through the course and after they complete the course. And we are always looking at the data, trying to figure out what we can do to make this a better experience for everyone involved. One of the very latest experiences that we've done to improve the project is we have moved from the University at Buffalo servers to the SUNY Create system. Ed, you're on the call. I want to thank you very much for your assistance. And SUNY OER and SUNY for their assistance in making the transition. The SUNY Create process was very easy. And we have, one of the really great things is that we've been able to modify the URL that is now a sticky URL throughout the project. I think the URL that we gave at the beginning, suny.edu/mtech, and the URL that you see on my browser right now, mtech.suny.edu, they will both work and they will keep consistent throughout the site. So this is the homepage of MTech Wiki. And if you're interested to explore this resource, you have your two options. So you can go either directly into the Coursera course. If you have a SUNY email address, you can enroll with your SUNY email, and then that will allow you to enroll in the course and also earn the free Coursera certificate and free SUNY digital badges. You can also choose, if you do not have any association to SUNY, you can enroll directly through Coursera. You can take the entire course. Everybody in the world can take the entire course at no cost. If you don't pay the course fee right now, that we recently raised that to a $49 fee. And that is only necessary if you are not part of the SUNY system and you also wish to get the Coursera certificate and the SUNY digital badge. which is very beneficial to post on your LinkedIn profile, on the portfolio that you will hopefully develop through the discovery exercises throughout the modules. And so employers are starting to recognize these credentials much more. Many times, many employers may not know what a digital badge is. They may not know what a MOOC is. We're actually getting away from the term MOOC because it's just an online course. Happens to have quite a bit of enrollments, which makes it a massive open online course. So you can go into Coursera if you happen to be an alumni of SUNY and no longer have your SUNY email address. If you're no longer, if I retire and I don't have my buffalo.edu address, I can still go to the FAQ page, and there's instructions just to send an email in that shows that you are an alumni of the SUNY system or one of the course official partners, such as our COIL faculty partners or students. If you can just show some kind of evidence that you are officially connected with SUNY in some capacity, we will allow you to get that certificate and badge at no cost. On the right side of the screen, you see the button and the icon that lets you discover the MTech Wiki. And you can also directly from this menu at the top, just navigate over to the wiki. The picture that we had in our slides was just a blow up version of this screen. And so when you first come to the Discover page, as Nicole said, you can navigate directly to one of the 4 C's. Communication and collaboration is module 2. So if you were in the Coursera course in module 2 and you were going through the discovery exercises, it would then point you back to the wiki, and it would take those 600 resources. We started out with 150, and it would take those 600 resources, and now it's saying, okay, so 500 of them can help you if you're trying to improve your communication and collaboration. You can then keep loading more. But if you say, well, my objective is to communicate with other people or help my students communicate with others. So I want to narrow this down even further. So I'm going to choose communicate with others from the menu. And it then starts filtering it down even further, down to 243. You can see these rating options. And so some more happens to be a newsletter creation tool. So if you needed to create a newsletter, you can come here and say, oh, this is some more. Then as part of the course, you would create an account in this resource, create a newsletter. It doesn't have to be one that you're really going to send out, but many times people are using these tools for actual applications to their everyday life. And then if you decide that it is something that you value, you can just click the up button. If it's something that you think is not very valuable to people's needs, you can downrate it. So as Nicole mentioned, we are trying to improve the rating system and make it a little bit more noticeable. We had a graphic design intern from a COIL course in Venezuela who has helped us redesign the front page and our rating system. And we now have a new student programmer who is in the process of re-implementing that design in the SUNY Create server, which is just a little bit more streamlined than the web apps pod container system that we were kind of locked into using at the University at Buffalo, since we had some of the programming that would help with the sorting process in the tools. And so one other way that you can sort or search through is through categories. So if you decide that, well, I know that I want my students to explore video, and that is one of the more popular categories out of all of these. I think we have maybe about 20 different categories. So if you wanted them to explore video to communicate and collaborate, you can narrow down further. If you decide, well, Screencastify is the one that I'm interested in, or you can look further. And Hit Film is another freely, and that's something I don't think we stress enough. All of the tools that are in the wiki are freely available technology tools and resources. We have one or two exceptions to that. If, for example, Blackboard Collaborate, when SUNY was a Blackboard campus, it was one that we had kept on the site, even though it was not free, since it was a resource that many people at SUNY were using. We did include a mention about that as well. Also in the category section, we have an essential toolbox. So that would be tools that you might know of and refer. So TED Ed is one of the really great resources. And also, so it's actually showing me all of the video and the essential tools right now. So I can kind of narrow down a little bit further. And also, if you are brand new to tech, we had some faculty tell us that 600 tools is just way overwhelming, too much of a fire hose. So if you are just new to tech, you can reset your search options, and you can only choose that category and say, I'm new to technology, show me some of the basics, some of the just, I'm thinking that I got a glitch here somewhere. So we're going to have to check our programming on there, but some of the new to tech would show up in that category, and we will definitely check on that. And Maureen, thank you for asking the question. How is privacy addressed across these tools and accessibility? That is definitely something that we are working on. And just to show you our kind of manual process right now on how we are handling that, we have about 50 of the tools that are currently evaluated. Again, we had some students from COIL who helped us go through, and we tried to aim at the ones that were used quite often. Top Hat is a classroom response system that we have. It's not very noticeable right now, but we have the link on the page to review the accessibility and the security information. Right now, it is a manual process, and we are going into a spreadsheet that is linked to from the wiki, and I can go in and I can find the record for Top Hat. Top Hat. And so here's the information about Top Hat that you can say, are alt tags provided and able to be added for pictures? Does the app use color to convey meaning? Does it solely rely on color? No, it doesn't. And there's a form that people can fill out to evaluate these. Pretty much everything that goes through, if you add a resource to the wiki or to this app review checklist, we will review it again before we make it live. And this is something that right now the evaluation part is a manual process. We did submit a recent SUNY IITG grant to pay for the programming that would allow us to programmatically connect the evaluation and add that rating system, and also make the course a little more available. And unfortunately, we are still searching for some funding. If anybody has any ideas on how we can approach that, we are always looking for partners with this SUNY MTech project. So please connect with us. And
so the good news is that the newer resources, the newer records, we are reviewing before we put them in. But like Robin said, the older ones, it is a manual process. We started out with our rating system and used that to identify the most widely used. Again, if not everybody's reading our tools, it's a little bit tricky. We've also taken a look at the New York Ed Law and taken a look at the K-12 sector of what they've vetted and used that as a clearinghouse, going through all the BOCES Center, going through every single district. That was my project during the pandemic to see and start to curate that information across the state and cross-reference to see what are they recommending the most.
And I do notice there's a couple comments in the chat. One of the questions was, is there a resource that is similar to Nearpod that allows a student to follow along a presentation on their screen and be directed to the links? And I do believe that Google may have an option to do something similar to Nearpod. We do have Nearpod in the collection. And I might have to look further to see. Nicole, do you have any ideas of a resource that's similar to Nearpod that we have included already?
I would say Google would probably be the best because they've been coming out with newer ones. But Nearpod you can certainly use. Nearpod works very well.
And thank you, Chris, for addressing. We will share the slides. And Nicole, before we do that, some of the links we're pointing to are big ugly URLs instead of our new SUNY Create URLs.
Sure.
We'll just make sure to update that before we share them. So here's just, I think we're getting pretty close to time. Chris, we got like, what time did we go till? Just want to kind of do a time check.
55, I believe.
Okay, so we're getting a little close on time. So I'm going to kind of skip some of these examples, and we can always go back to the wiki after, pull them up and show you around. But when you get the slides, you can also check. These are some examples. Edpuzzle is, just Nicole, can you quickly talk about the examples, and then we'll just kind of move forward and come back here.
Sure. Edpuzzle is a wonderful resource. It is freemium, meaning that you can get the free version or you can pay to upgrade. I've been using it for community and collaboration with my face-to-face, my fully online, my remote, my blended classes. It allows students to collaborate. It's great to sit down and use as a review or a springboard to launch a topic. You can either use pre-made videos, or what I like to do, certainly during the pandemic, most of us had to make a lot of videos for our students. I use it in the STEM field to make work problem sets and then use it as quizzes for students. So it gives them that ability to do a little bit of review work. Padlet, what can I say? Those of you know me know I'm a huge Padlet user, and I know it's very overused. You have certainly a lot more options like Google Jamboard, but a great space for students to collaborate and to be able to take that information and kind of take it with them where they can download it. They can use it certainly online, and we want to make sure that students are really engaged in the active learning process.
And Maureen, thanks for that teachable moment in the chat. You just read that Jamboard is going away. Yeah, I do remember reading that recently. And this is when we would now go to the wiki and just simply log in, go to the contribute option. And I have the ability to do the big delete. Other people could go to the wiki, hit the delete button, and then it would go live after the MTech team agrees that it is something that should be deleted. And yes, unfortunately, it was a great one, but that's the idea that we're trying to solve with this tool. Things change. You need to know, instead of saying, oh my goodness, that's going away, what am I going to do now? Say, it's going away. How am I going to change my knowledge to apply the basic principles of what I learned using that tool to something new and improved that it has replaced it? So thank you very much. We did have just an explore and share exercise that we want to encourage everyone. When you are done with the SUNY OER conference, please come back to the MTech website, explore one or more of the tools, tutorials, or resources that meet your specific learning objectives. And then if you do not wish to log into the Coursera course, please go in and share a reflection through social media. Just say that I was, exploring the MTech site, found this resource, and this is why, or why it does not, or why it does meet my specific needs, and how you might be using it, and sharing maybe the artifacts that you create. We mentioned kind of at the beginning that it's MTech is an OER that helps to create OER. And we do want to also mention that at the end of October, we will be launching a partnership with Ukraine. They had reached out, and Tony DeFranco had shared a message through the SUNY Engage platform that they were looking to readopt open education resources for the purpose of sharing them with their community that are right now dealing with many hardships due to the war situation. And so we have helped them translate the course using human translators. It is available through their system, and we will be promoting that to their country in a very short while. The course has also been automatically translated into 20 different languages on the Coursera platform. And just going to kind of quickly go. I see that we are running quickly low on time. This is a page on the site that shows our impact, and I will bring you there if we have some time. But actually, we have about 10 users to go to hit that 35,000 mark. So please help us do that today. 35,000 individuals from across the world have registered and enrolled in the MTech course. Big contingents are from SUNY, since they are the ones that have sponsored the program. Also India, Mexico, Singapore, it has flooded through their civil service. We've had all of the instructors who train their firemen and policemen and civil service going through. Thanks, Chris, for the note. We do have a page that's linked to from the About section of the website that has resources that you can share with your campus, flyers, small takeaways, digital videos that you can send through email, announcements that you can grab and change. And just one last call, please, we need some more help. This is a big project, and we want to continue to improve it. So there is a call for partnerships, again, under the About menu. Chris is also one of our wonderful fellows on SUNY MTech, along with others that I see on the call. And so I'm going to just kind of leave just a couple minutes for questions, comments. Thank you very much for your time and attention today. And I would encourage anybody to unmute if you have a question. You can also, if you prefer, to put them into the chat. And yeah, Ed, thank you. EdTech, or your EdTech students love Jamboard. So yeah, if there's some opportunities to figure out other options for that, that would be great. Questions or comments?
So Robin, I'm a Jamboard user myself. When I got the email that announced that Jamboard was going away, there were some options in there, I thought. I don't know if you've gotten it or not, but if you haven't, I can forward you the email that I received.
Let's forward it.
Yeah.
And I would encourage, if there's any that you have looked at that look interesting, please go right into the wiki and go to that contribute menu. And, please also, feel free to add the resource yourself. And we would be very thankful if you could do that. I have a list of probably about 1,000 links that it's really easy for me to make a bookmark. I just hit the little star on my browser and I got a bookmark. Contributing to the wiki does take a step or two more, not too many. You do have to create a separate account, and then it's a WordPress website that just lets you create a new resource. You don't need to know HTML or anything like that. Very WYSIWYG to add a new resource to the wiki. So please, if you have a minute, help us out by doing that. And Nicole, do you have any closing comments? I think we are at our time here.
Absolutely explore the wiki. Please feel free to use it with your classes and partner enroll. Share the MOOC for students to enroll. It is great for new instructors to be able to learn a lot more tools to bring to your students. It is fantastic for students to be able to get out of the rut of using the same tools that they've been using in K-12. And just really wonderful opportunity to be part of a community practice to kind of spark your imagination on different projects and different things you can bring to your classes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today.